Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought provoking conversations. Consistently on this channel, we have been raising the issue of special intensive revision exercise, which is being conducted in Bihar. In fact, that exercise is over. It was a 1 month long exercise with the draft electoral roll being uploaded on 1st of August. But what has come out is a stream of irregularities where there has been a mass exclusion of voters' names, be it Muslims, be it the Dalits, be it the Adivasis, be it the Muslims, be it the women in general. That's what is coming out. And also, a few people have pointed out that there are some 16 to 17 villages which have been completely wiped off from the electoral map of Bihar, which means through 17 villages, there are no voters. Can you imagine that? And to top it all, Election Commission has sent a notice to RJD leader Tejasvi Yadav saying that he has got two epic card numbers and that's a fake one and he needs to submit that, deposit that because it needs to be investigated. He's also been threatened with an FIR. So the point is that if Election Commission has been undertaking a technologically prudent exercise like the special intensive revision, why it couldn't figure out that Tejasvi Yadav was carrying a fake voter ID? Is it not on the Election Commission now to explain that if they had the technology framework which could differentiate between a real voter and a fake voter, why couldn't they do that? And why is Tejasvi Yadav being blamed? Why are things like FIR against Tejasvi Yadav being said? So we'll try and discuss the larger issues surrounding this SIR, how it has been a complete failure, a total lack of transparency with minimum accountability. Joining me this evening is transparency and accountability activist Anjali Bharadwaj. Thank you so much, Anjali, for joining. And I'll begin the interview with Tejasvi Yadav's fake voter ID issue, which has, which has become quite viral. How do you think this fake epic card could have come and all of a sudden Election Commission wakes up and then says, oh my God, how did he get hold of a fake epic card?
Neelu, the Election Commission has now put out a draft roll, voter list, where they're saying that after doing this special intensive revision of electoral rolls, they have put out the names of people that they found to be ordinary residents of certain constituencies. And the list, they're saying now they're going to examine that list, scrutinize that list, and finalize it in the next 1 month. This whole issue of Mr. Tejasvi Yadav and his, epic number and a duplicate entry in the electoral roll has come up. Mr. Yadav did a press conference in which he said his name has been cut off the list, and to which the Election Commission said that he had two places where he was registered as a voter and has now issued him a notice. Now, let me sort of take your viewers to the larger issue. The point is that when the Election Commission does an exercise like the SIR, first of all, we are not saying that the Election Commission doesn't have the right to do a purification or a verification exercise. But in an electoral democracy, to make sure that there are no problems, there is trust that is maintained in the institution, the process by which this exercise should have been done should have been very different. It should have been far more transparent, including the voter list that has been put out. So now the voter list, the draft voter list that has been put out by the Election Commission, has the names of people who the commission says filled their forms and sent them back. And 65 lakh names have been deleted from the 2025 list because the Election Commission has given at least 4 reasons. One, they have said that we have struck down the names of people from the 2025 electoral list who have died. Second, they have said that there are many people who have permanently moved out of Bihar and therefore are not ordinary residents, should not therefore vote in Bihar. The third is where they are saying that we could not find certain people. Now, they have collapsed these two categories of people who have permanently moved out and people that they could not find, which in itself is a problem. These should have been two different categories, but they have been collapsed. And the fourth is where they are saying that there are some other reasons because of which they did not get the forms back and they have deleted the names. Now, when the list comes out, what is expected? If I am looking at a list to check and verify as a citizen, because that is my right. Let's not forget, we are in a democracy. We have the right as citizens, as the people of this country, to be able to check and verify whatever the state is doing is happening in a correct way. And we can also then actually help the Election Commission in this case to rectify, to make sure nothing is going wrong. But if you look at that list nowhere does it indicate who are the people that the Election Commission is claiming have died. It does not indicate who are the people the Election Commission is saying have permanently left Bihar. Now, if these are the reasons why their names have been struck off the 2025 list, should the Election Commission not have put their names and in front of that indicated that this name has been deleted now because we found that this person has died, or we found that this person has permanently left Bihar? Now imagine if you and I were residents of Bihar, our names were on the voter list in 2025, but now the name has been struck off. When we look at that list, we should be able to see that there has been something wrong. It says I am dead, whereas I am very much alive and I should be able to vote. Or it says that I am not a resident of Bihar anymore, whereas I live in Bihar still. So this is a big problem, and this lack of information which the Election Commission has put out, because there are now repeated demands even in the Supreme Court in the case that is going on. One of the things that has been clearly stated by the lawyers, Mr. Kapil Sibal brought it up, and now there is a specific petition also that has been filed to say that the Election Commission can't just strike off people's names. Now, in Mr. Tejasvi Yadav's case, he has been served a notice. Let us see what he has to say, why the commission is saying that your name was duplicated in that list. First of all, Neelu, let me also bring up the point of accountability. When there are duplicate names that are found in the electoral list, obviously none of us, including Mr. Yadav, I'm assuming, can go and add their name on their own. There are obviously BLOs, there are election officers who are doing the work of verification, and only then they go and add somebody's name. Why was anyone's name? I'm not talking even about Mr. Yadav right now. Why should anybody's name be put in duplicate? If there is a question, I believe that in all such cases, there must also be a notice that should be sent to the election officers who are adding people's names incorrectly, whether they are adding them twice or they are deleting them incorrectly or they are adding them when they don't live there. All of these are also questions that have to be asked of the state machinery, of the Election Commission's machinery. So I would say that the notice has been issued by the Election Commission. We should wait to hear what Mr. Yadav has to say. But clearly, the Election Commission, what it is doing is fraught with problems. It is fraught with problems because the Election Commission should have said, ideally, if Mr. Yadav's name has been struck off the list anywhere in any constituency, his name should have been displayed, and in front of it, they should have written why they cut off his name from there. In the absence of that, you and I are not able to make out what the issue was. Mr. Tejasvi Yadav might be doing something right or not, that time will tell, but he would have been able to make out that my name has been cut off the electoral list from this place because there seems to be a duplication. I've got another one. The Election Commission should have known this also, because after all, you're doing this exercise, you are sending out BLOs to give the form, the enumeration form, to every person on that list, and then you're saying the form didn't come back, or because, and we've struck off people's names. Now, have they registered him as dead? Have they registered him as duplicate? Have they registered him as migrated from Bihar or not found? We should know the reason why the election commission is striking down names. So, what I am saying, Neelu, here is that in this particular case, what is very clear is that through this one instance also, the entire reason for asking for more information and transparency comes out much clearer. We have been repeatedly saying, Mr. Ajit Anjum, who's a journalist, has been on the ground. He has been doing some very, very important ground level reporting. In that, he spoke to a family. I have seen this video, and I haven't seen any counter from the Election Commission so far on that. So I think it's correct. In the video, he's sitting with the family, which is saying that the family's elders had died many years ago. The man is sitting there saying his father died 6 years ago, his mother died some time ago. But for both of them, they have got messages on their phones. This man has got a message on his phone that his parents have submitted the form and signed the form. Now, if they are dead, how could they have signed this form and then the election commission is sending a message to this person? So clearly, when there are all of these things happening, there is a right for people to know whose name is being deleted, what they are being deleted for, not just. See, you put out a list. Of course, I can search the list and figure out if my name is deleted or not, or somebody else if I'm looking for. But a proper verification is, if the election commission is saying there are 4 or 5 reasons for which we are deleting names, they put out the list of the deleted names along with the reason why they were deleted. And that has not been done. We have been repeatedly saying that this SIR exercise was brought in complete secrecy, Neelu. When the election commission announced it on the 24th of June, no citizen, no voter in this country knew that the election commission was going to start this mammoth exercise. The election commission is saying they're not only going to do it in Bihar, they're now going to do it in the whole country. It was brought in so much secrecy. Nobody was consulted. Should citizens have not been consulted? Should political parties have not been consulted? I filed an RTI application to the election commission saying, please share with us. If you did any consultation with people, please share the details. If you did any consultation with political parties before launching this massive SIR exercise, please share the details under RTI Act. And the response I have got is no information exists. That means no consultation was done. So you are undertaking such a huge exercise as the election commission. You're not talking to anybody. You're not consulting anybody. No stakeholders are being consulted. You're not letting anybody know we are planning to start this exercise. And from there have been so many issues where information is just not available. And the latest is this list that has been put out without telling people, without informing people why somebody's name has been deleted. After all, when somebody's name is deleted from the electoral roll, you're disenfranchising them. Their right to vote is being taken away from them. This is not a small matter in a democracy.
Absolutely.
And people have a right to know.
Right. But Anjali, you remember last time when this mentioning of the case, the SIR case happened, and Justice Bagchi said, and also Justice Surikant, that, okay, get us 15 people who have been declared deceased and they are alive. Now, there are several cases coming up like that. Do you think that the court is going to consider all this? There have been reports that how 17 to 18 villages, there are no voter names throughout those villages. Now, what about these discrepancies, these kind of discrepancies? And how could even election commission think of wiping out such villages, on the electoral map? I'm surprised at the methodology which they are adopting.
Look, Neelu, now that the voter list is out, the draft voter list, I think there is going to be much verification and information that will emerge. There have been some reports which are concerning, but I think there needs to be much more verification on the ground because the lists have been put out only a few days ago. And this is a very large exercise in a state which is undergoing, in the monsoon seasons, there are floods that are happening. And in Bihar, we know the kind of flooding that happens. Now, that has been one very important problem that has been flagged with the SIR exercise, that what was the tearing hurry that the election commission had to undertake this exercise in? Why did they have to do it before the Bihar elections? Why did they have to do it in the middle of monsoons? Now, in a place where, villages upon villages are actually wiped out in the floods in Bihar, where, people lose their belongings, their homes, in that situation, the election commission has now put out a voter list. Now, people will need to now engage with this voter list. Many people will need to go out to see what is in the list, what is missing. Are there, in fact, villages which have been left out totally? When there have been these claims, there have been some counter claims as well, where people have said that no, that's not true. No villages have been left out. But I think that there will have to be a proper determination of this. And I feel that, this is part of the problem, Neelu,
No,
that
but
we have
Anjali,
been.
there's another concern. There's another concern that, the SIR activity started when, the rains were just about to start. Now it's in the middle of a rainy season. And as you said, most of the southern parts of Bihar, they are submerged, there's flooding. How will the verification now take place? While they conducted the SIR, they didn't bother to go to the doorstep. And now for verification, how on earth will they land up to verify? I mean, I'm just wondering whether at all any verification will happen, or they will just submit it as it is. Whatever the draft list says, we just submit it the way it is.
So, Neelu, this is a very important point. We have been raising this, that under the guidelines and the order that was put out by the Election Commission, the election officers, the electoral registration officers, EROs, are now supposed to do a verification and a scrutiny of the documents and the names, that have made it to the draft list. They are saying that people can approach them if their name has been incorrectly left out, or if they find that there is some discrepancy, they can approach them. The problem is that the guidelines are silent on how they are going to verify and scrutinize.
Yes.
So, this really opens a lot of scope for wrongdoing. Now, if I am an election officer and I am told that you are supposed to scrutinize, but I am not given any clear directions on how I am supposed to do that, what I have to do to scrutinize documents or check that, whether this person actually is a voter or not, then I can choose that people from a certain community, I will do the verification, I will scrutinize, I will tell them that please prove to me that your birth certificate is correct, your parents' birth certificate is correct. After all, people who are voters, let's say somebody is 30 years old and their parents are 60 years old, a 60-year-old birth certificate would not be computerized. It would be written in a language, and so I can sit and say that I can decide that I will verify. And for other people, I can simply say I did the scrutiny, they seem to be all right. So you see, this is adding a lot of arbitrariness to the process. And added to that is this monsoon. See, always the election commission, it has prided itself in saying that we look at the local conditions when we undertake any exercise of this kind. We seek that there should be no flooding, there should be no monsoons, there should be no major festivals. Only then we do this exercise. Here we are doing it, we are seeing the election commission do it in the middle of monsoons. Now, how are people, see, a lot of people, they will need help to be able to even look at and check whether their name is on the website, on the voter list or not. They will need to approach somebody. If their name is not there, if they're not even able to check whether their name is there or not, how are they supposed to approach the election officer and say my name has been cut off? If they find out that in their family somebody's name has been cut off incorrectly, for them to be able to go to the election officer is itself going to be a nightmare. So we have now landed in precisely the situation which people have been worried about, that the election commission, in its hurry, in its haste, and without taking into consideration what the situation on the ground is, has gone ahead and undertaken this exercise at a time which is so incorrect to do this exercise, which is the middle of the monsoons. So this is a big worry. And coupled with that, the fact that adequate information is not there on who has been struck off the voter list and for what reason, I think it's just going to be a very big challenge, and we are going to run the risk of disenfranchising many lakhs of people in this manner.
Anjali, now what does the picture look like? I mean, I don't know how much the courts will come in the rescue of the situation, but the situation seems to be like an identity crisis for all the people in Bihar. Now, India Alliance is also planning to go on a protest. They will go on a protest march. How much success the opposition parties will get in generating a public movement on this, I'm not too sure, because whichever political party on the ground, I'm talking about the opposition party, and if you speak to them, they are saying that they have invested all their manpower in ensuring that their voters get enlisted in the voter list. And so from where will they generate a public movement on this? I really have no clue. So what is the way out? And also what Tejasvi Yadav was saying, that worst come worst, we will have to boycott Bihar elections. But then again, that opens a Pandora's box, because if opposition parties boycott Bihar elections, they will be forced to boycott other elections which are coming up next year.
No, Neelu, this is a very concerning scenario. And I think that, what we are seeing at the present moment is raising a lot of questions on the institution of the Election Commission. I really feel that in any election and any exercise that the Election Commission undertakes, first of all, the first stakeholder that the Election Commission is accountable to is the people of the country. They cannot lose the trust of the people. They cannot function in a way where people feel that they are in the dark, where people feel that we don't understand why the Election Commission is doing something. See, the Election Commission in their affidavit in the Supreme Court has said that we are undertaking this exercise on the basis of complaints that we received from opposition parties and on the basis of an independent appraisal that we did. Now, if you look at the complaints that the political parties filed, nowhere did they ask for an SIR to be done. Now, if the SIR is being done on the basis of the independent appraisal that the Election Commission did, the Election Commission is not sharing that independent appraisal with people. So why is the Election Commission doing this exercise? Why are they doing it at this time during monsoons? Why are they doing it in a manner where so many questions are being raised? Because they are essentially asking everybody, for it would appear for the first time, to prove their citizenship. None of these questions are getting answered, because they are saying, no, this is not the first time we are asking people to prove citizenship. We did it in the 2003 election, in the 2003 SIR also, IR also. But they are not putting out the guidelines and order for the 2003 intensive revision that they did. So they are operating in great secrecy and opaqueness. So I think that this is raising fundamental questions on the conduct of the Election Commission. The other stakeholder that the Election Commission must be accountable to are political parties. See, they are supposed to make sure that they are free and fair elections. They are supposed to be like the umpires, the referees in any match. Now, if they are not going to listen to what one of the parties is saying, if there is a cricket match and they're not going to listen to one of the parties in that match, how fair is it? And I think the fact that opposition parties are saying that we are very unhappy, we are going to go out and protest, they're saying that we might even consider boycotting elections. Whether or not they boycott the elections, Neelu, I think it is a very, very avoidable situation for the country to be in. And the election commission must understand that. The political parties, opposition parties, are trying to say that they were not consulted. They are saying there's not adequate information, this is not the right time. They are saying that we are very worried that names will be cut off, deleted in an incorrect way. I think these are concerns that the election commission must take into account. And the fact that you said also that the election commission is saying we are not going to stop here, we are going to do this in the whole country. I mean, we are really shaking the very foundations of electoral democracy here, because now also the election commission must halt. They must say that, look, if there are concerns, we are willing to sit on the table, we will talk to political parties, address all the concerns, we'll do consultations with people,
No, but
we'll learn from the problems that happened on the
Anjali,
ground.
yeah, but Anjali, my last question to you is that if it does look like something which is very, very malicious, or it's full of ill intentions and not very straight designs, then are we in a position to clearly say that maybe the government and the election commission together, they are trying to weaponize the franchise now? I mean, they've been weaponizing so many things, the language of hate, religion, or everything seems to be weaponized, but this was the last thing which we thought could be weaponized. So is this a weaponization of the franchisement? I mean, and how cleverly they are doing it without even have to answer to the people as to why they've undergone this exercise totally.
Look, Neelu, it's very important that the election commission, it's a constitutional body, that it be seen, not it should not just do things the correct way and in a fair manner, it should also be seen to be doing things in the correct way and in a fair manner. Now, unfortunately, some of these concerns that you have listed are coming up because people are feeling that the election commission has not been completely open, it has not been consultative, it has not taken all the stakeholders along, it is not coming clean on some of the questions that are being asked to the election commission. So naturally, questions have been arising. It is unfortunate that the Election Commission of India, which for so many decades was seen to be doing a stellar job of doing elections in the country, there were some problems, but by and large, internationally, it was acknowledged that the Election Commission of India is conducting free and fair elections. They are being a fair umpire. But now, for many years, for several elections, at least since 2019, general elections, then the state elections after that, the 24 general elections, there have been many questions that have come up on the working and functioning of the Election Commission, including selective action by the Election Commission of India, where if complaints are filed against the ruling party leaders, then no action is taken or very late the action is taken. And if complaints are filed against the opposition, very quickly action is taken by the Election Commission with great alacrity. I think all of this does not bode well for the institution of the Election Commission and for the electoral process in the country. And once the electoral process is vitiated, and let's understand that we have repeatedly said that electoral rolls, the voter list is the soft underbelly of elections. If the voter list is tinkered with, the elections can be won or lost way before the election actually happens. If you delete some names strategically or you add certain names strategically, the election can be won or lost even before the election happens. In this scenario, when the electoral rolls are being revised, unless they are done taking people into confidence, taking political parties into confidence, these questions will arise. And I think it's very unfortunate. And I do feel that the Election Commission must immediately halt. They must stop. They must say, after Bihar, we want to do this exercise. Even if they want to do it, they should say, we will first examine what the situation was in Bihar. We will learn from it. We will talk to political parties and citizens, take their concerns on board, and we will move along with everyone so that everyone has faith and confidence in the Election Commission and the SIR exercise. Otherwise, it's democracy at stake.
Absolutely. But we'll have to wait and watch what the courts do on 12th and 13th of August, where the hearing is due. But for now, the situation looks completely chaotic. And as Anjali rightly pointed out, there is a total lack of transparency on a measure which was so important to explain to the people of the country as to why you are doing it. But neither the ruling party nor the election commission, it seems that both have blinded themselves to this chaos. Thank you so much, Anjali, for joining on HW. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.